everybody, what's going on? Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Here we are with another movie.
Yeah, and I dropped a whole pitcher of Arnold Palmer on the fucking ground.
Oh my
just
god.
Just made a gallon of the shit.
I mean, I had already made my drink,
yeah,
so it didn't affect me in the
pissed.
slightest.
I just made that shit yesterday.
He made a whole pitcher of tea
it's
with lemon in it.
It's a half a gallon of tea and a half a gallon of lemonade mixed together in that fucking thing. And I pulled it out of the refrigerator and put it on top of the refrigerator to go mix my drink, and that shit fell.
Yeah, the whole pitcher.
Whole pitcher, yeah. I wasn't looking where I put it.
I mean, we can make another. It's still a pain.
Yeah, but then I had to sop all that shit off the carpet. Yeah. Then I had to get the carpet cleaner out because it's sugar.
Yeah.
Fuck. So I had to use iced coffee. I used Reese's flavor.
I told Tom, I was like, I think like he's getting as clumsy as I'm getting because I drop shit all the time, run into walls and whatnot.
My fucking loose tooth fell out last night.
Yeah, that's right.
Shit was wiggling, fucking driving me crazy.
He woke me up at like 2 a.m. He's like, Jen. I was like, oh no.
I said, fuck this shit. And I just grabbed it and just put a little bit of pressure on it straight down, and it popped right out, painless. I was like, finally.
And it wasn't even broken. It's all like in one piece. It's crazy.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Because I have one like in the super back that fell out, but it cracked in two, so it came out in pieces.
It was the one next to the wisdom tooth. It just had 2 little fucking roots on it, and it came. All the roots came out and everything.
You should like make a necklace out of it or something.
Yeah, it had a little cavity underneath the gum line, and
it's neat.
And it was kind of yellow, so I guess it got infected and it died. Yeah. Sometime.
He's been bothered about that for like.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
For a couple weeks.
It was been
like
wiggling.
It's been hurting him and wiggling and bleeding and shit like that.
And I didn't really bleed that much. It only bled once.
Because I remember we were out Saturday night and you were kind of like, man, I need to drink some more so I didn't think about this tooth anymore. But
yeah, I was getting ready to pull it out of the bar.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I'll get drunk enough and I'll just go in the bathroom and yank it out.
Yeah, and then I said, I don't know though, I don't want to pass out in there.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Pass out drunk, tooth in one hand, dick in the other. I can't trust I can't trust those dudes around my dick in that club, bro.
That would be legendary if that happened.
Yeah, Toby goes, what happened? They got to you before I got to you. What the fuck?
Oh, no. But yeah, it fell out last night. Like in the middle of the night.
Should have had fucking Dr. Michael pull that shit out, our fucking crazy fucking veterinarian.
Yeah, you should do anything. You should have asked him.
Yeah, he probably would have. I forgot about it. Bitch, fucking.
He probably would have done it.
Shit, fucking trying to
he
lick on your
like,
head.
yeah, open your mouth. I'll do it.
Crazy looking fucking god, dude.
That's absolutely something.
And if I said, man, that tooth is in there, he goes, open your mouth. He probably went in there and pap. There you go. Fucking Uncle Fester looking motherfucker. Looks like Riff Raff.
Yeah, he's more Riff Raff.
More like Riff Raff. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing was we were out Saturday. I know we'll get to the movie in a second, but it's like we were out Saturday night and they played that because remember we talked about the cover of Goodbye Horses that Urban Heat does.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I really like that song, and me and Tom joke because it's like the lead singer of that band. I'm like, man, he's so hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
he's a cool dude.
Yeah. And it's like Dr. Michael. So I was dancing to that song Saturday night, and Dr. Michael was right there, and he's like, I want to fuck that man. Like he just said to me like randomly, and I was like, hey, me too. No, it's like
Dr. Michael. We've known him for like fucking 20 years, and he is like the fucking truly fucking fluid sexual motherfucker. He just do anything. You can say, well, he's bisexual. No, he's not even in that box.
He's pansexual.
That dude is just fucking pansexual. he'll do anything or anyone. He can sexualize anything, or he's just a total slut. He's just a slut. He's fucking hilarious though.
But it's super funny. But I just thought that was funny that he just totally said that like out of the blue. Like he just came up to me in my face and was like, I want to fuck that man.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, me too, kind of. Like he is hot, right? And he's like, oh my god. I was like, yeah. So it's like I thought that was super funny. So all right. So this movie. So this is how we ended up watching this. Now months and months and months ago. Every now and then, like when I'm looking for stuff to review for my series or for this show or whatever, I usually go on those like, hey, underseen or underrated movies from the 70s or 80s or whatever. And I was on one list, I don't remember who it was that did it, but this was the only movie on there, like I think it was underrated 80s movies or something, that I had not seen before. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. And Peter Weller's in it, and I love him. So it's just kind of like, I need to get around to that one of these days. So I wrote it down, and then I totally forgot about it.
It's a real young Peter Weller, too.
Yeah, and because this is 83. Yeah. And then, weirdly, fortuitously, we were watching, if you guys watch Oliver Harper on YouTube, he reviews movies and stuff. And he put up a new review for Rambo First Blood Part 2, which happens to have the same director as this movie. And he mentioned this movie, like when he was talking about the director, George P. Cosmatos. So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I've been wanting to watch that. And I was like, let's see if it's somewhere to rent. So it was on Amazon Prime for $2.99. Tom had a bunch of points, so we actually got it for free. Yeah. So we fired that sucker up and watched it. Now, I kind of feel like the trailer of this does it specify? I kind of feel like the trailer doesn't specify what the big bad is. You know? Like, yeah. I think they're trying to kind of make it look like... They're
making a monster movie kind of.
Like a monster movie, which technically, I guess I call it a creature feature. But it's kind of more psychological horror, I think, or more survival horror. Yeah. I've seen this called an urban Moby Dick. Yeah. It's not about a whale; it's about another animal. Yeah. But
well, you want to tell them what it is?
It's a rat.
It's a fucking rat. Dude spends a whole movie at war with a rat in his house.
And it's not like a giant rat; it's a big rat.
Yeah.
But it's not like a human-sized rat. It's like it's about the size of like a dog.
It is smart enough. Well,
and it's a smart rat.
It's not the size of a dog. It's the size of a possum. And
it's about possum.
It's about the size of a possum.
Yeah, it does kill a cat.
It kills a cat.
I was very upset.
Smart.
I knew that was going to happen as soon as he picked up that stray cat. I was just like, oh no, something very bad is going to happen to that kitty, and it does.
Yeah, it's about the size of a possum. It kills a cat. It defeated. He got a cat. It says this will kill it.
I was like, no, that's not how that's going to go, Peter Weller.
Yeah, it was even defeating traps. It was smart. It's a pretty good flick. It kind of reminded me of that Thai movie we saw about the guy that fell down into the fucking swimming pool.
Oh, the pool.
The pool, yeah, where the whole thing he's trying to get out of the pool.
He's inside a pool with trying to get out of the pool. It's a drained pool. There's no water in it.
There's no water in it.
And there's an alligator in there.
There's an alligator in there. He can't climb.
That's a great movie.
His legs hurt. He can't climb out.
Yeah.
And he's got to survive against this.
And the whole thing
is he's in that fucking pool.
in this fucking pool trying to get out.
And I don't even think we saw that in English. It was in its original.
Yeah.
And you don't need to speak Thai to fucking watch
that. That was a great fucking movie.
It's epic. You're like, this is a fucking great movie.
Yeah.
And it was
so simple.
Low budget. The CG was not all that great, but it didn't matter. The writing and the direction was really good. It was called The Pool. I recommend that one. That's a good one. Yeah,
we reviewed that one a long time ago.
This kind of reminds me of cross between The Pool and there's something about it kind of reminds me of fucking The Evil Dead, where fucking he slowly transforms into kind of like a fucking medieval knight.
Because toward the end, he's like putting on like umpire shit with bats and
to fight the rat,
putting like stuff. Yeah, because
and Peter Weller's young in this, man. He's good looking. He kind of. We looked at him at the same time. He looks like fucking Peter Murphy from Bauhaus.
Yeah, he does a bit.
Yeah, in that.
Particularly when he has like that black, like skull cap on.
Yeah.
Because Peter Murphy used to wear one like that, like sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing, okay, so this came out in '83, directed by George P. Cosmatos. This was actually his first North American film. This is actually a Canadian/American movie. He had made films. He's Greek, and so he had made movies in Europe for a decade prior. Now he went on to do, as I mentioned before, Rambo: First Blood Part 2. He also directed Cobra. He also directed Leviathan, which, man, if we haven't reviewed that one, we really should review Leviathan.
I kind of remember liking it.
I saw that in the theater.
It was underwater,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It was kind of like
Peter
Alien.
Weller is also in that.
Kind of like Alien, but it was a mutant fish
creature.
Yeah.
Kind of. It was kind of like that. But I don't think we've reviewed that one, actually.
And he did Cobra.
And he did Cobra, yeah.
Wow, all right.
And
the version of Cobra we have is pretty good, but there was supposed to be an X-rated version of Cobra. Not from sex, but just for violence.
Violence, yeah.
And they think the footage is still out there. That'd be cool if fucking Stallone one time fucking pulls some, eventually gets some strings pulled and we get a new version of Cobra. Because it would have been a lot better. That movie was flawed, but it had a lot of good ideas in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it was kind of repetitive because of the edit, and a lot of cool fucking gory scenes got cut out because it was a serial killer and a fucking commanding of a whole cult of serial killers in a way. That's how I remembered it. They're kind of satanic cult of serial killers.
I think too that this director, he also worked on Tombstone, which I'm pretty sure we did review, and I think he's also the father of Panos Cosmatos, who directed Mandy. as well as Beyond the Black Rainbow, among other things.
Yeah, good one.
So yeah, he has passed away now. He died back in 2005, I think, or like in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, Mandy was great.
But yeah, I loved Mandy. But I'm pretty sure that's his son, this guy's son. So this was actually based on a novel that came out in 1979 called The Visitor. I was watching a podcast earlier, like a YouTube show. I think it's called Book to the Movie, except it's like the Back to the Future logo, but it's Book to the Movie. And I was like, oh, that's clever. And it's 3 guys, and one of the guys had read the book, and the other 2 guys had seen the movie, so they were like comparing. The book seems to have a better ending, I'm going to say. I did kind of like the ending of this, but I thought it was a little bit abrupt. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But I haven't read the book, so I don't really know. It didn't seem like it was all that different. So this also has, if you're into that, this has fucking Shannon Tweed in it, she was kind of a big Playboy thing, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of remember everybody being like dudes drooling over her back in the day.
That was retro shit. I wasn't.
She's not in it much, and I don't think. Do you even see her titties? I think you see her in a bra.
Yeah, I don't remember any nudity.
I don't think there's any nudity. I think she's just like in a bra. And she's in like bathing suits and shit, but she's barely in it. Like she plays his wife. All I remember was like there's a scene of her like coming out of a pool, and I was like, man, that bitch is scrawny.
Yeah,
she seemed very skinny.
Yeah, the thick wasn't in back then.
I guess
they
not.
Didn't have
80s was kind of there was still a lot of that leftover like
70s coke
like coke kind of look where everyone was like super because she was like really skinny, and I was like, like big thigh gap and
I saw that there was a famous model. She was also an actress too. She was the one that married Rick Ocasek. She was like hot shit when she came.
Paulina Poroskova.
Yeah, Paulina. She was doing an interview, and she's about my age. She's not old. And she's like fucking going off about how fucking fucked up it is to get old when you're a woman like her. And she goes, and she goes, I was skinny as fuck. And I look now, Jennifer Lopez is only a few years younger than me, and she looks fucking great.
Yeah.
You don't want older women don't look that good skinny. They look better when they're kind of muscular.
I guess it depends on their look. I mean, some people look better. Some people look better skinny. Some people look better thick. It just kind of depends.
Out of the two, man, fucking Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
She looks a lot younger.
True. Yeah, Joseph says he's listed as the director of Tombstone, but I don't think he actually directed that movie. Yeah, I think there's some controversy about whether he actually did direct it or not. But I just thought I would throw that out there. But he definitely did do Leviathan and Cobra and the second Rambo movie. So, yeah, so the book came out. I love the guy that wrote the book. His name, this is the most upper-class twit name ever. Chauncey G. Parker III.
Yeah.
And I don't even... Chauncey.
Yeah. That bitch doesn't even belong in America. No.
Sorry, Chauncey. I mean, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but that is, like, a really funny, like... That's a very twee name.
Yeah, and we don't even have that here.
Yeah, I've never met a Chauncey.
No.
I've never met a Chauncey in my whole entire life.
The lead character from Being There was named Chauncey. Remember the...
Yeah.
The Asperger's guy, or what was he? I don't know what he was.
We should review that.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
That's a great fucking movie. And I don't think we reviewed that. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah, Being There was great. It was about how rich people can be fooled by trappings. They thought this dude was a genius. No, he was retarded. He just was like from a very rich family.
Yeah.
And they just read into everything that he said. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think a lot of rich people are like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they're not smart.
If you have a lot of money, it's easier for you to like fail upward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you have like all these doors open for you that wouldn't be open for regular ass people. So this story basically is about... Okay, so Peter Weller plays a dude named Bart, okay? And he's like some kind of corporate 80s something. You know what I mean? Like it's some kind of like corporation. I don't know exactly what they do. It's something to do with banking or trusts or something financial, right? So he has this kind of high-powered job. And they have this beautiful Manhattan brownstone, which he is very proud of saying that he's restored completely on his own. Note, though, that some of this was filmed in New York City, a little bit of it, but it's mostly was shot in Montreal. And the inside of the brownstone was a set. What I read was that they built the set, and then they decided that all the interior shots, they were going to film them in sequence, which they don't usually do for movies, which I think most people know. But it's like, because as time goes on and it gets more and more trashed, you know, it's just going to be easier to like film it like that. So he has a wife played by Shannon Tweed. I think her name's Meg or something. And then they have a son. And at the beginning of the movie, the mom and the son are going to visit the grandparents and in Vermont or somewhere. And he's supposed to go, but he's like, no, I got this like really important like corporate work thing and I only have 2 weeks to do it. So it's like, I can't go. So they go. So they're pretty much gone for the whole entire time. So he's like home by himself dealing with this bullshit. And I think they don't really hammer on this because I kind of feel like the theme behind this movie and why I call it more, it is a creature feature in that it's man versus rat. But it's kind of more psychological horror because it's almost like metaphorical. I kind of feel like there's little things in there like his wife's family being super wealthy, because whenever he calls them, they're always doing like wealthy people shit, like, hey, we're playing tennis and we're out on this big, like, it's you know, you can tell they're like living in this big mansion or whatever. And there's that, and then there's the thing about him like at his job, like them giving his stuff to like other dudes and everything like that. So it's almost like an emasculation kind of thing, which is maybe feeding into why he wants to fight this rat by himself. Because it does end up that the rat is female, and they do kind of harp on that a little bit. Not harp on it, but they do kind of mention it a little bit. So I kind of feel like that is maybe... And like I said, it is a very much Moby Dick kind of theme. And that's not an accident, because at one point, when the rat is up in the ceiling, and he's banging on the ceiling with a book, it's Moby Dick.
No,
like,
it's not Moby Dick.
It was. Moby Dick, yeah, it was Moby Dick on the book.
TV, they showed...
On the TV, they showed Old Man in the Sea.
Old Man in the Sea, yeah.
So
it's a Moby Dick kind of like story.
So I was like,
yeah.
So, but they knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying.
I haven't seen Old Man in the Sea in a long time.
I haven't either. I remember reading it in school.
Dude in a boat in the ocean. He's on a boat, like a rowboat. He catches a fish so big he can't get it in the boat. He spends all days and weeks trying to defeat this fish. And then he never did get it in the boat. The other fish ate it once he caught it. It was fucking all kinds. I remember seeing it as a kid. It was nothing but constant frustration.
Yeah.
And this dude's fucking will to catch that fish.
Which is like pretty much exactly what this movie is. You can tell that, and I don't know what the book is like, so I don't know if this was the impetus behind the book, or if it was just the movie where they deliberately like made the movie parallel Moby Dick or the Old Man in the Sea, because it's basically just like this one man's battle against a rat.
Yeah.
And it's not, like I said, it's not a giant rat. It's not... I mean, it's a smart rat, but I mean, rats in general are pretty smart. It's kind of like you said, it's about possum sized.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big for a rat.
A possum can get pretty big.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that.
A little bit bigger than a cat.
Yeah, because at one point, it's kind of weird because it's 83. So even though, I mean, the special effects in this are okay, but you can tell that when they did the close-up shots of the rat, they're using an actual rat-sized rat. So it looks like just a rat. But then, like, when they show it from a distance, like climbing up under his covers or something like that, it looks much bigger. And when it jumps on his back and stuff like that, it looks much bigger. Like, maybe, like, a little bit bigger than a cat. So it's a little bit confusing. You can't... And I was watching another review of it. They said, well, I couldn't figure out, like, how big this rat was supposed to be, like, for the whole movie, because they're using different kind of shots and stuff.
It was whatever size it had to be at the shot.
I mean, I'm just thinking it was supposed to be... I mean, he flushed it down a toilet at some point, so it can't be that big, or it would have clogged the toilet, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you never could flush... You couldn't flush a possum down a toilet. It's just whatever fucking...
No matter
whatever
how hard
size
you try.
it had to be. Yeah.
Phantom asks is there any nudity. No. Like I said, in one dream sequence, you do see Shannon Tweed in a bra, but that's about it. I don't think there's any nudity.
Yeah.
You don't get to see her tits at all. Mm-mm. Which I kind of feel like if you're going to put Shannon Tweed in a movie...
You might as well show her nude.
I mean, I kind of thought, because wasn't she in Playboy?
I think so.
Prior to this?
I think so.
So, yeah. Zach is laughing at me. Yes, hello, you've reached the office of corporate 80-something TM. How can I help you? Yeah. It was just like, I don't even know. It was just one of those 80s financial corporate jobs.
Yeah, that are gone now.
That I have no idea how any of that works. So you have like a parallel kind of situation going on where he has work shit going on where he's like, you have to do this corporate important thing like in 2 weeks or you're going to get fired or you're not going to get the promotion or whatever. And then at the same time, like his wife and son are gone and all of a sudden he has to deal with this rat infesting his apartment that is in a lot of ways maybe smarter than he is. You know what I mean? At least in some ways. I also want to note that I'm pretty sure the dude that played Cleet, who was the he was like some kind of handyman something, like I think he worked on their building or like on the next door building or something, and he was like always asking him for advice about rats. That guy, I think that was the same dude whose head blew up in Scanners.
Okay.
Pretty sure that was like, because the whole time I'm like, it was bugging me, like I know who that dude is, I've seen him before, and then when I looked it up I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the dude from
Scanners, another masterpiece.
Whose head blew up.
If you guys haven't seen Scanners, you should see Scanners.
So he's in this too. And honestly, I think Cleet, I mean, other than Peter Weller, who was fucking great in this, but I think Cleet was like my favorite character. Other than the rat. The rat was pretty cool too. I kind of like rats. So it's like, so if you're grossed out by rats, this might be scary to you, but I don't know.
I just thought it was amusing. I thought the movie was just amusing.
Well, and it definitely does have a comedic element. And I think that, I'm going to say, if this had been anybody else but Peter Weller in the lead role, I don't think this would have worked. But because he's so deadpan.
Yeah.
And he's just so fucking over it.
Yeah.
And he's just like the way that he like talks to he just comes in like talking to the rat and all this other kind of stuff. It's just so fucking funny. But it's just like dry. It's not like zany funny or anything like that. It's just like a very, very...
She's saying that it wouldn't have worked without him. I'm not sure this movie did work. I enjoyed the movie. It was shot really well. It was written
it's visually
well.
really nice.
I enjoyed it. Okay, but this movie was forgotten. I mean, you think that for as good as it is, I think people would have remembered it. I don't remember this movie. I've never even heard anybody mention this movie.
It's kind of, I had heard about it in kind of underrated horror circles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've seen it come up on some lists of like underrated 80s horror.
Very underrated.
And I kind of remember seeing the VHS cover, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I should probably get around to seeing that, but I don't think I ever did.
I think the problem was with this movie is that it was a rat. That's all it was. It should have been something else.
Well, I mean, it could have still been a rat, but it could have been like a giant rat.
Or a mutant rat. So like a monstrous rat. Something... It was just a rat. All right? And I think that's what caused this movie to be forgotten.
Maybe. I think kind of maybe the way that they tried to sell it.
Yeah.
Because if you go on Amazon Prime to rent it, they show you the trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the trailer didn't really
tell you what it was.
Didn't really tell you what it was. So it's almost like it was, and at first, they don't show you that it's a rat. Like, you see kind of shadows and stuff, but then you're wondering, is it like a poltergeist, or is there somebody in his house? Well, like you weren't sure.
Here's the proof of what I'm saying. Would you have remembered the movie, The Prophecy, if it was just about a bear? Just a black bear?
Right.
No. It was a fucking huge mutant bear that fucking the damn mercury got in it, and some kind of weird shit out of a bio fucking lab got into this thing. And it made a big old giant mutant angry fucking bear. And you remembered that.
Although I will admit that there was a great horror movie called Backwoods that was just about a bear.
Okay.
That just ate a dude that was out camping. And it's based on a true story.
Prophecy stuck with me
and
more.
It was pretty scary.
Prophecy when I was a kid. That one shot of that kid trying to jump away in that fucking sleeping bag, and that bear went BAP! Like that. He went flying and hit the tree and exploded with all the
That is
feathers.
For real one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Man, that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I love that GIF. That's probably my favorite GIF of all time.
BAM! fucking sleeping bag with that little kid.
Oh my
just
goodness.
Fucking blows up. And that was the first time I remember being a boy. I was probably about fucking 10 when that movie came out. What year did that come out? Do you remember?
Prophecy? 79, I think.
79.
I think it was 79.
Okay, so I was about 10. And that's the first time in a movie I remember them seeing a kid get killed. Usually that shit was off fucking.
Yeah, like I said, American movies, they didn't usually
Yeah.
kill kids in movies.
American
Like I said, the
little
Europeans didn't give a fuck, but like
Yeah.
American movies didn't usually.
That bear blew that little boy up against that tree. Boom! It's just like, oh, fuck. Yeah, that worried me, man.
Seriously, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see that. I kind of
So
want to
I
watch
think
that scene
had
again.
this had a spin on the rat. You know what I mean?
Like, had it been super large or
been a mutant or
I mean,
or a genetically engineered rat that got escaped from a laboratory.
I
something
can
like
kind
that.
of see that. Like, if you don't know going in that this is just like a dude fighting a rat that's like kind of bigger and than a regular rat and kind of and smart, like I can see you being like, oh, now there have been movies like because he's talking about Graveyard Shift, which had like a fuck ton of rats and then also a giant rat.
Yeah.
So there was that. That was a shitty movie though. It was a good story, but
this movie just would not play in the South well. I mean, dude in the audience would be like, "You can't kill a rat." You know what I mean? Because that dude, that wimp, I'm leaving. He can't even kill a rat. that's because in Mississippi you kill shit. You know, all kinds of hunting.
well, I mean, I
like
kind of feel like in certain households,
yeah.
if you saw a big ass rat, people would just pick up the pistol and go, blam!
Yeah, fucking
Problem solved.
Yeah, we had something called rat shot, which was a little 22 caliber fucking round with a little plastic end on it, little BBs in it for shooting anything indoors. People think you shoot things indoors. Yeah, you can shoot things indoors.
I mean,
rat shot. You shoot a roach with shooting roaches and shit with it. Get that fucking rat shot. Roach on the street. Pow.
Not gonna lie, if I had that and I saw a roach, I would totally shoot it. I hate roaches. I would have a hard time, like I said, I kind of like rats. I think they're kind of cute, so it's just kind of like, in this one, I was kind of like, I wasn't sure if I was Team Peter Weller or Team Rat, because the rat was just trying to like, it was a female rat and she had babies, and he killed her babies.
Yeah. Well, that's not confirmed. They fell down inside the fucking.
Okay, like in the book.
Yeah.
Like I heard on this podcast that I listened to, in the book it was a lot worse because the dude actually very deliberately took each little baby rat, whatever they call a baby rat, a ratling.
Yeah.
Pup. Yeah, I think they're pups.
Yeah.
And took it and like smushed it.
Yeah.
In this one, he so he very deliberately like murdered the babies, which, like I said, if you're the mama,
it makes mama matter.
Yeah, like in this one, he kind of like he found the box with the pups in it, and then he was like, "Oh shit!" And then like he picked it up and didn't like the rat, like the mama rat, like scare him, and he dropped it, and then they kind of all spilled into the sewer or something. There was like a sewer grate, so he didn't really do it as deliberately as the dude in the book did. Because I heard. Like I said, I haven't read the book. I was just like listening to this dude talk about it and comparing it to the movie. He's like, the dude in the book is a lot bigger dick than in the movie. So I think in the book, I probably would have been even more Team Rat.
Yeah, I bet you a rat mama probably would try to fuck you over if you killed her pups, because
most species would.
I've seen videos of a squirrel, a mama squirrel, fighting a snake that had her baby coiled up in the snake, and she killed that snake and got the baby out of there.
Man, good for her.
Yeah. And she grabbed it and ran up the tree with it. It was still alive.
I like snakes too, but come on.
Trying to come
your
to.
baby.
She fought that snake for a good 5 minutes, kept biting it, trying to get him to uncoil.
Let go of my baby.
He got her out. Yeah, he got that little baby out. It wasn't a little baby, it was about half size of her.
Yeah.
And ran up a tree.
Like I like snakes too, and it's like I know snakes gotta eat, but if I saw that, I'd be like Team Squirrel. Sorry.
Well, that's part of nature, though, is being able to evade a predator.
Yeah.
And animals save other animals in nature all the time.
True.
People don't realize that. They say, well, you don't want to intervene. You're a human being. Don't intervene in nature. Other animals intervene.
They do, yeah.
On behalf of other animals all the time. I've seen videos of birds jump down and fucking help turtles cross the street.
Yeah.
And then leave the turtle. You're like, why would they do it? Because they understand that the street's dangerous.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to us as humans, but to animals, they'll help each other sometimes.
But like I said, I think it should, because as I've said before, I think animals are a lot smarter and more empathetic than humans give them credit for.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, oh, they're just animals. They don't know. I'm like, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And
why would they be doing that otherwise?
And birds and turtles are not competitors. So he's like, come on, man, get across the street, dude. They're going to run you over.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to see that. Come on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I know what videos you're talking about too.
Which one?
The one of the birds like helping the turtles.
Helping the turtles, yeah.
That's like I've seen him actually do that a couple of times. Was it crows? Was it crow or a raven?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because they're super intelligent also.
I think it might have been a jay.
Oh, maybe. Okay. All right.
I think it might have been a blue jay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's even more interesting. Because like I said, crows and ravens, they know they're super smart. So it's usually, if birds are doing smart stuff, it's usually them.
I think blue jays are pretty smart too, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so here's the thing. So the first thing that happens, and like I said, at first, they're kind of trying to set it up like you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like he hears like weird noises. There's like weird shadows. You're like, is this a ghost? Like what's going on? And then his dishwasher starts leaking like all over the floor. And he's like, well, fuck me. So he calls the scanners dude. The scanners dude comes and he looks in there and he's like, oh, looks like something chewed through the hose, you know? So it's like to the dishwasher. And he's like, it's probably a rat. And then he goes into this whole long thing about rats. It's like, oh, they'll survive a nuclear apocalypse and stuff like that, which I'm not so sure is true. But all the, you know, they say stuff about rats, say they can chew through concrete and stuff like that, which I think is largely true. And so he's like, okay, well, there's a thing where, okay, so you would think like in the modern era, right? You have a big rat in your house that's like chewing up your shit. And you would just call an exterminator, which he does, but they kind of like hand wave that away a little bit by saying that whenever he calls an exterminator, he's like, oh, they never get back to me because it's New York City / Montreal. It's New York City and it's full of rats. And so all of the exterminators are too busy to come in. So he can't get an exterminator there. You know what I mean? So he has to handle the problem himself. Like I said, this is almost like a metaphorical story like he does. Because it takes him a while to even call an exterminator because he's like, well, I can take care of this. I'm a man. This is my house. It's just a rat. Yeah. So it's like, so he puts traps down and he puts cheese in them, which is a rookie mistake. And the rat just like takes the cheese and just fucks the traps all up and doesn't, you know what I mean? So he's like, okay, well now I get bigger traps, which look like tiny bear traps. And it doesn't fall for that either. And then he gets poison and the rat doesn't eat it. And so he's just like, what the fuck am I going to do about this fucking rat? And as time goes on, like, he just starts getting... Obviously, he's not getting any sleep because the rat is making noise all the time and fucking with him. Like, he gets up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. The rat is in the toilet and, like, scares the absolute shit out of him. And is like, there's that kind of stuff, which that's, like, a common urban legend. Like, in New York City, like, fucking rats popping out of your toilet and stuff. Yeah. Which I'm sure probably happened at one time or another.
I don't think I could get up a pipe.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like I said, I kind of feel like it's an urban legend on the same level as the flushing the baby alligators on the toilet and then they grow to massive size in the sewers of New York City.
I once heard that a snake could make its way.
I could see a snake. I could see a snake doing it.
That's the only thing I've heard, that snakes can do it in certain circumstances.
Great. Now something else to be paranoid about. I don't know.
We have a septic system here.
That's true.
We couldn't get through our septic system.
Yeah, I don't think there's any snakes in the septic tank.
We don't. Here in the South, when you live where we live, each home has its own septic system.
Yeah, we're not on the city.
We're not on a city. Just goes through there and it fucking spreads out and fucking dissipates out underneath your dam. It's got tanks where one flows out into the other. It's all underground.
And then every now and then, some dude in a GIMP suit shows up
to get in your
and says he'll give you a few $1,000s to let him swim in there.
Yeah, that's some weird shit. Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, please see Wang on YouTube and the dude that swims around in the septic.
There's a dude that will pay you.
I can't even watch that video.
To go in your
it just makes me
tank,
fucking
he would videotape it. And he'd be in his GIMP suit swimming around in it.
It's because he's like
sewage,
a fetish.
Raw sewage. Nasty motherfucker. In his GIMP suit, and he's going underneath to hold his breath. Coming up, and he's just relaxing in there like it's great.
How do you get to a point in your life?
I don't know.
Where one, you have thousands of dollars where you can pay to swim in someone's septic tank, and two, where you want to even swim in someone else's septic tank.
This is the thing I want to know: is that the septic GIMP man had an assistant who went with him to close the fucking concrete lid back down on him so he could be subterranean. Right. And then help him put all that shit. Who is the dude that helps the dude? That's the real fucking strange thing.
Yeah, now
my
I'm
job
kind of
is to
more
help.
interested.
My job is to help him get into the sewer. That's some weird
when
shit.
When he was a kid, do you think that he ever saw his life going in that direction?
Yeah. He must have been a septic guy. He had the equipment to do it, so he must have fucking had something to do with septic business and had some weird
and just
fetish.
got into it.
I think he had a fetish about it, and that's so he got into the septic world. And then, but when he was on the job, he couldn't take the plunge and get down in there.
Because everyone would be like, "What are you doing, you weirdo?"
Yeah. I'm gonna go in.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. If the
I'm
dude
gonna come back in and check your septic system in a year from now, okay? All right, yeah, okay. Then he goes. Then he gets in there and shuts himself in.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie.
With cameras.
If some dude showed up at our door and said, "Hey, I'll give you $2,000," or I don't know how it was, a couple $1,000s, right?
No, it was like $500.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, just like.
So it's like, I'll give you $500 to swim around in your septic tank. I'm like, okay, knock yourself out.
Yeah, he said you won't.
As long as I don't gotta see you or smell you.
He said he wouldn't even know he was ever there because he'll uncover it, and cover it back up, and yeah, he knew what he was doing with septic.
Which, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing. It's like a rat that is supposedly the size of this rat, because very clearly he's laying in bed. And he's kind of sleeping, and the rat comes up under the covers, and it's clear, it's pretty big. It's like that big, like under the covers. Now, something that big would not be able to pop out your toilet.
Mm-mm.
No.
It's a movie.
Because then they show the rat in the toilet pipe.
Yeah.
And it just looks like a regular sized rat.
Yeah.
Which maybe a regular sized rat could obviously get in a regular.
They would drown. They can't hold their breath that long.
Yeah, I don't know.
A snake can.
That'll make everybody feel better when you're going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Just like fucking probably like I said, I don't think there's snakes in there, but I don't think about it. But yeah, so I don't know. So as unbelievable as some of the stuff is, I don't know. I don't know. Did you like this movie or no? You kind of liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was a good movie. It was pretty entertaining. It was shot really well.
I was gonna say visually it's really nice.
Yeah, the acting and casting and the writing is good quality. It's a good movie. It just didn't survive the test of time. You know what I mean? It's a cult classic because it was forgotten.
Yeah.
And I think it was forgotten just because it was about a rat.
Well,
it wasn't enough to fucking stick into the mind.
Yeah, like I said, I think maybe it was just kind of a letdown.
It was kind of a letdown that it was just a rat. Yeah.
Because people are like, they built it up.
You're right.
Now, what I've heard in the book, they built it up even further to think that maybe he was like imagining shit. Like maybe he was like losing his mind. Which is interesting, and I kind of wish
they could have gone that way. Yeah.
That they had done that more. But they do that a little bit, but not much. Like he starts falling apart, but you pretty much know that it's a rat from the get-go. Like, you can see, and one of the things I liked about this is that they kind of tell you it's a rat before they tell you it's a rat, because he'll be in the kitchen or something doing some shit, and then you'll see a reflection in, like, the toaster.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like, over here. So they're not focusing on it, and they're like, hey, look, it's a rat, or anything like that. But if you just notice it, it's just like a little glimpse of like a little foot or something like that. So it's like, so if you're paying attention, you know that it's a rat, from the jump pretty much. But for a while, they kind of make it seem like it's something more than it is. Like maybe it's some kind of monster or it's some kind of supernatural.
And it would have been better if it was more than what you thought. I would think people would have remembered the movie. I have a feeling that people saw this movie in the theater and enjoyed it and immediately forgot about it.
Maybe so.
That's what I think happened.
I think it would have been, like you said, I think it would have been better if it was just a bigger rat.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of rats.
But if it was bigger, it wouldn't be able to hide.
Because a bunch of rats is always freaky.
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to hide if it was bigger.
True.
If it was a rat that had special abilities because it was like a mutant.
A psychic rat.
Yeah.
Like I said, this was a smart rat. It was smart enough not to fall for any of his traps or, and to fuck with him and stuff. And it was fucking with him on purpose. Like at some point, It chewed through like the electrical cords. It like put his power went out. It chewed through the phone cords, and we could call him. Like it did shit like that. It chewed through the report that he was working on, like the important corporate work shit that he was doing, that was due in 2 weeks. It chewed through that. So like it was smart enough to know, like it was fucking with him on purpose.
What I would have done, and I think another director maybe probably would have done this, I would have sensationalized the movie. I would have given the rat a backstory. Said, yeah, this is rat. It's bigger than normal, and it's also much more intelligent than normal. It's an escaped laboratory rat that's had some genes put into it to increase its
like
intelligence.
Secret of Nim.
We were trying to figure out how to increase human intelligence.
They can talk and stuff.
And it got out. And then you fucking compound the problem. You say, it's crossbreeding with other rats. And if it gives birth and these fucking other rats fucking get into the breeding population, all the rats in the city will become intelligent. And they'll become a threat to mankind. End of the world. Dogs and cats sleeping together.
Mass hysteria. Which is kind of similar, for some reason.
Remember that probably.
When you said breeding with the other, it kind of reminded me of arachnophobia from 1990, which was spiders, not rats, obviously. But that was kind of like, they weren't super intelligent, but they were like super aggressive.
They were a colony.
And then it was a colony, and
like
then it
ants.
bred with other local spiders and made the local spiders more aggressive, and then like it could reproduce really quickly.
But it also made them like a colony, like ants.
Yeah.
It made them in a hive, kind of like a cooperative colony.
Because I kind of feel like if your animal isn't big, like Jaws, or a bear, or something like that, you either have to have a big mutant one, or a shit ton of them.
Yeah, and
I feel like if you're gonna make a horror movie,
they have to have some kind of mental,
maybe
they have to be smart or organized in some way. Because that's how you make a bunch of little things a threat.
Yeah.
Because, most of the biomass of the planet's little bitty insects.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, like
They're
I
not
said,
really a threat to us.
Well, and you can absolutely make movies. I mean, look at Phase 4, which is about ants. Or a French movie that I reviewed not too long ago, which was called Infested, which was spiders, which were mostly spider size, but there was a fuck ton of them. Yeah. And they were all loose in one apartment building, and they were super toxic, and they reproduced really, really fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're gonna go that route. Now, like I said, I did like this movie, but I can see what you're saying. That it's like, it should have been... Because it was a bigger than average rat, but it was still not big enough that you were like, why didn't he just squish it? Because it took him a while. Like, it killed his cat. Right?
Yeah.
Like, he brought in a stray cat from outside. It wasn't his cat. He brought in a stray cat from outside. Hey, this cat will kill the rat. And I was like, oh, that cat's doomed.
This dude's a Yankee, okay? The southern fucking solution would be to go get your shotgun. And you already have one of those. Yeah. Everybody had a 20-gauge breech shotgun handed down generations. At least a 20 or a 12. The 20-gauge was like, that's something you gave to a kid. And a 20-gauge would fuck that rat up, So it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's what it was. Because people were like, dude, it's one rat.
One rat. Yeah, take your shotgun and blast it.
Just blow it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see it wrecking some of your shit at first, like before you knew it was in there.
Yeah.
But once you knew it was in there, it's like you should be able to take care of that problem, you would think, because you're a lot bigger than it.
Yeah.
So, and there's only one of them. Like I said, it's not like it's an infestation or it's like a horde, which is like a lot harder to deal with. You could also leave
out poison, sticky traps. There's all kinds of stuff.
Well, he did do the poison, but it didn't work.
It didn't eat him, yeah.
It didn't eat it because it was too smart. It knew what that was. But yeah, so as time goes on, he starts like deteriorating mentally more and more as he's not getting any sleep, and he's trying to outwit this rat who is, like I said, clearly kind of smarter than him. And finally at the end, he goes kind of full... I was going to say he goes full, like, Ash from Evil Dead, but he doesn't, like, cut off his hand and put a chainsaw or nothing like that. But he just, like, puts all the, like, umpire shit on and, like...
He's got shin guards
and all that kind of stuff.
Pads,
and then he has a baseball bat that has, like, traps and nails and spikes and shit, like, sticking out of it.
Yeah.
And so he goes after the rat, and they have, like, this big, like, battle royale toward the end. The hilarious thing, because, like I said, this does have humor to it, and it's intentional. Like, it's not, unintentional comedy. It's basically they meant for it to be funny at some points, but like I said, it's kind of a dry humor. So at the end, he just like crushes the rat, and he with chasing this rat through this house that he has painstakingly renovated. Like, and it's beautiful, and it looks like it should be in an architectural magazine or something, and he just fucking trashes the place, like, trying to just, like, smashing everything. The rat's fucking shit up, he's fucking shit up, and everything like that. And after he finally kills the rat, the funniest thing is, like, he comes up to the living room, and everything's just broken and busted, and there's, like, one vase, like, sitting there on the mantle, and he just goes, boop. And he just, like, knocks it off. And then, like, and I was just like, yeah, might as well, because everything else is busted. And then, like, his wife and kid finally come home in the cab, like, from their trip or whatever. And they don't show them going into the house. They just shoot it from outside. And all you hear is, like, her voice going, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And then him going, oh, I had a party. And then that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Now, the book ends with them moving to another place and them finding rat droppings in the new place. You know what I mean? So it was almost like sequel bait, which I kind of wish they'd ended that, like, but I don't know. I kind of liked that. I had a party, because he was just, like, so deadpan. Oh, I had a party. Because the house is completely fucking trashed.
Holes in the walls,
the basement's flooded.
Yeah.
There's holes in the ceiling.
Yeah.
He's been, like, the bed is all torn up. He's been sleeping in a hammock, like, over the bed, because the rat, like, tore the fucking bed all up. And it's just, like, everything is completely trashed. And he's just like, oh, I had a party. You know what I mean? That was, like, the end, and the, like, credits roll. So I thought that was, like, actually pretty funny. But yeah, like I said, I think the reason this movie worked was because of Peter Weller.
Well, he sells it.
He really sells it.
He sells it for as much as you could sell a movie about a rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just so... You could just kind of... Like, I really like him as an actor. He has a type that he plays, which is kind of like this very...
Kind of deadpan.
Yeah, he's just very much like that.
He did a lot of really good fucking work on the History Channel, too.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Yeah, also about ancient Rome and...
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just his acting, his voice-over work and
Yeah.
shit that he was doing. And evidently, he's from academia. I think he's got a really fucking good education.
I'll have to look it up. I'm not
From
sure.
what I heard, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but from what I heard back in the day, he was, like, real educated.
But yeah, he's just very, like, he kind of underreacts to things.
Yeah.
But I think that works well in a movie like this, because you can relate to him more as a protagonist. Like I said, in the movie, he's not... In the book, like, that character is a real dick, or so I've heard. In the movie, he's not really a dick, so you do kind of feel sympathy for him, like, that he's going through all of this bullshit, and it's just... And it seems like a problem that would be, like, really easy to solve, and he can't seem to solve it, and he's just falling apart at the seams because of this, like, seemingly inconsequential problem that he has. And so you can, like, relate to his frustration as he's trying to, like, outsmart this tiny animal that is, you know, outwitting him, like, at every turn, pretty much, and kills his cat and does all these horrible things. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. So, like I said, if you ever want to see Peter Weller go in a battle royale with a rat who's slightly larger than normal, a rodent of unusual size, if you want to call
horror
it
comedic
that.
tone.
Yeah, it's
kind of like Evil Dead, kind of.
It's not as funny as
Not as
Evil
zany,
Dead.
yeah.
Like I said, it's not zany.
Yeah.
It has humor to it, but it's a very dry humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was intentional. I don't think that was unintentional.
Yeah.
I think they were absolutely, because some of the shit he says is just, like, super funny. But yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, this is on Amazon Prime if you want to see it. I know that a lot of people have not even Phantom said that he had not heard of this one, which is something, because Phantom has seen
It's a quality movie.
all of the and like I said,
Quality movie.
I think the best thing about it, like, it has really good suspense at first, and then but the shot compositions are really nice, like and it looks really nice, like the one that they have on Amazon, like just visually it's like really really nice looking.
It's a very well made movie.
Yeah. Phantom says Willard are pretty good rat films, original and the remake. Yeah, I like both of those as well. I think we did Willard and Ben, didn't we? Those two rat movies.
Something like that.
They made some killer rat movies.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know?
remember them.
But but that was a fuck ton of rats.
Yeah,
And that was somebody that had, like, didn't he have, like, a psychic connection with one of the rats, and then the rat, and then the rat like would
right.
bring all his friends like to fuck people up, like
Yeah.
you know. So there was some kind of like mental connection there.
think
This
that
one,
was-
like I said,
yeah.
it's just a bigger than average rat that's smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a man versus nature kind of story. Like I said, that's why there's so many Moby Dick and Old Man in the Sea
Yeah.
references in this, because this is essentially what this is. It's like an 80s corporate urban version of that. You know what I mean? Except not with a big animal.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more we can say about it. That I just let it go at that.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to wrap it up. Why, you hungry?
No. Just,
I am.
I'm gonna take a shower. You hungry? I get some. Yeah.
Well, you ate something earlier, didn't you? I
Ate some
smelled it.
cereal.
I smelled it.
Yeah, eat cereal.
Oh, I
no,
thought-
I cooked some eggs and some spam.
Yeah, see, I thought I
I had to
smelled
eat
something.
that. I had to eat the rest of that spam. I had half a can of spam.
And I was just kind of like, ooh, that smells
Fried that
good.
up,
And then I was like, oh, I guess I'm not
Yeah,
going
you don't eat spam.
No, I don't eat spam.
Yeah.
I do eat eggs.
I
though.
got a lot of that chicken tikka left. Got a lot
Yeah,
of
I
that.
want some more of that.
All right.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phantom said, yeah, you reviewed the 1971 Willard film. Yeah, I thought we had. I knew we'd done them. I don't know if we did
Yeah.
Ben as well, but...
I
And I
think so.
don't think we did the remake, the one that had Crispin Glover in it, but I thought we had, but maybe not. I know I've seen it, but I don't think we've reviewed it. All right, so we are going to wrap it up for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. For the Wednesday show, as one in the votes, we're going to do another serial killer, Scottish one this time. Good old Peter Tobin. We're going to talk about this motherfucker. Man, what a scumbag
Sounds
this
familiar.
dude was. Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought he was Bible John for a while, but I don't know if I believe that or not. But yeah, we'll get into that on Wednesday, so hopefully you guys can come and join us for that. But yeah, until then, have a good rest of your evening. Have a good day tomorrow. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday night. Good night.